What's good, CDL fans? Let's go through the updated power rankings after week 1 of Major 4 qualifiers. These next few weeks are literally the most important weeks of the season at this point because 8 out of, well, I guess not 8, 7, because Boston's really not fighting, but 7 teams are fighting for champs qualification. So this is going to mean everything. Obviously, my power rankings are not who qualifies for champs, but it's just going to go to show you which teams are looking the best heading into that champs push. And let's start it off with the bottom because, as we all know, it's going to be the Boston Breach. Boston still cannot get a win. I mean, to look at their 2 series from this weekend, they lost in a Game 5, Round 11 Rio SND to the Minnesota Rocker. Now, what I will say is they brought a Major Maniac to be better at SND. In map 2, he went 8-3, which is great. But in map 5, he went 3-9, which kind of, you know, you think he gets a couple more kills there. Maybe they win that Game 5. And then in their second series of the weekend, they got 3-0'd by the LA Thieves. This felt great as a Thieves fan, but Major Maniac goes -23. He goes 6-7 in SND, which is whatever. But, I mean, you're getting 3-0'd. Dan Ghosty and Kremp are frying you. Really, after making roster change after roster change, all this stuff, the Boston Breach still cannot get over the line. Now moving into number 11 is the LA Gorillas. LAG, they went 1-1 on the weekend. They took down the Royal Ravens in a Game 5, and then they also lost to LA Thieves in a Game 5. So 2 Game 5s for LAG this weekend. Honestly, probably could have put them up at 10 above the Minnesota Rocker, who also went 1-1 this weekend, but their win came against Boston Breach. So in my mind, actually, I'd probably flip these. I'm just going to keep it how it is on the screen, but you can definitely flip these too. And then coming in at number 9, the team, I think this is the only team actually that fell this week, and we'll obviously show the whole rankings, but it is the Royal Ravens, down 2 spots from 7 to 9. The Ravens obviously had a little bit of a tough weekend. They lost in a Game 5, like I said, to the LA Gorillas, where Gwyn got absolutely cooked. It does seem like Gwyn really doesn't play well when his ARs are frying. Now, Fellow, obviously, I'm only 0.99 -1, but in the first HP, his ARs both dropped 20 plus. He went 7-18. In the control, the ARs kind of struggled, and he did a little better, but Tej really did his thing, which is the whole reason they won that map. But overall, on this series, man, I mean, you're not beating anyone pretty much if Gwyn is getting cooked this bad, especially other bottom teams. It's just kind of interesting to see how bad he struggled. And then versus the New York Subliners, a series where a lot of people had them making this upset. I had New York winning this series. Gwyn, another hard series, -19. It wasn't anything crazy out of the whole team. Fellow, the only one to go positive, but +31 at a Hydra, 111 kills. I mean, Ravens, like I said, only team to fall in my power rankings this week. And we'll get into the rest of them, but it was definitely a tough week for him. Then coming into the people who moved up over the Royal Ravens, we do have the Vegas Legion moving up 2 spots this weekend. Now, they did get 3-0'd by the Toronto Ultra, but they took down the number 1 rated after Major 3, OPTIC Texas, in a Game 5. And honestly, this was a really tippable series out of Legion. I love series when people win in Game 5 where they win 1 hardpoint, the control, and the SND. They win 1 of every game mode. It just kind of goes to show you how good they are at everything. But also, look at the goddamn scoreboard, bro. I mean, red carpet out here for OPTIC and the green carpet out here for the Las Vegas Legion. I mean, they absolutely cooked OPTIC Texas when you look strictly at the scoreboard. I mean, -27 out of your Major 3 MVP just a couple weeks ago is absolutely crazy. And I mean, even in this map too, they only lost in the round 11. So this was close to potentially being a 3-0. And on top of that, they took down OPTIC on sub base for the first time this year. OPTIC are now 11-1, I believe it is, on sub base. And they took them down handily. I mean, OPTIC only got 139 points. So really, really crazy series out of this Legion team. Johnny looks like he's been a really, really good pickup. Their best player. He was in my team of the week this week. Overall, man, Legion look like they're going to be poised to make a champs run. And then the other team moving up this week, I do have the LA Thieves. We go 2-0 this weekend, taking down the Boston Breach and taking down LAG, right? Both teams that are at the bottom. But when you go 2-0, you obviously deserve to move up in the standings here, especially when the team above you, which was Ravens, is falling down. So LAT, I like the way we're looking, man. I think we're looking solid. I really hope we can keep this momentum, but obviously these are 2 lower teams we beat this weekend, so I'm not going to super overreact to this. Then we get into our top 6. I still have the Miami Heretics at number 6. They only played 1 match. It was with Purge subbing in for Vickle because Vickle had personal things, and it was versus OPTIC. So for them, kind of like other teams, I'm not going to overreact to just 1 loss in the first weekend after the Major, especially when they have sub playing. So, you know, if you wanted to drop them, I guess you could. Depends how recency bias you want to weigh your power rankings. But for me, I'm keeping them there. And up at number 5, I still have the Seattle Surge, also keeping them there. They go 2-0. I know people are going to say they should be at 4 over the New York Subliners. I can't put them there. New York just beat them on land at Major 3 a couple weeks ago. I know New York, lost to FaZe, barely beat Ravens. Seattle Surge went 2-0 this weekend, reverse sweeping the Toronto Ultra. Surge look great. They're clearly the best out of the bottom teams, out of the bottom 8. But just because of what happened at LAN, I can't put them over New York just yet. Speaking of New York, they're at number 4. And honestly, I'm just going to show you the rest. I didn't make any movement over here in my top 6. I just think it'd be a little bit unfair to drop teams after, one match maybe, like for OPTIC or Ultra that they lost online after going 1-2 at the Major. I did the same thing for New York, like a last split where, they had a rough week where they lost to Ravens, they lost to Surge. I didn't drop them out of the top 4. One rough week, I don't think, especially for the top teams, really for the top 4 teams, is not enough for me to drop them. I just don't think that's fair. I think we all know they're clearly the top teams. They're going to have some rough matches here and there. The other teams are getting better, which is great to see. But at the end of the day, these are our top 4 teams pretty much without a doubt. So I'm not dropping them out just yet. But that doesn't mean they couldn't possibly drop over the next couple weeks. Like if New York loses another series, Seattle keep winning, I'm going to move Seattle up. But after 1 week, especially after the Major, I'm not going to move them from the 1 online week. But yeah, this is my power rankings post Major 4 qualifiers week 1. Like I said, man, Champs is heating up. Let me pull up the standings real quick, the actual official standings for the league. As you can see here, let me zoom back out. The race is getting crazy. I mean, honestly, we can zoom in because we don't care about the top 4. This is the race right here. We're going to cut out Boston because they're still at 50 points. But this is the race, man. A 30-point difference between the 5th seed and the 11th seed. We got a 3-way tie here for 11, 10, and 9. We got a 2-way tie for 8 and 7. And then we got a 5-point difference between 5 and 6. I mean, this is just going to be absolutely insane. Every single match matters from here on out, and the Major 4 is going to matter a whole ton. You're going to want to win on land, man, if you want to qualify for Champs. Let me know, who do you think is missing out on Champs in the comments? Do you agree with the power rankings? If you do, make sure to drop a like, sub to the channel for more CDL content. Hopefully, I'll see you all in the next one.